Hey guys, it's Alden from the Gamer Kit, and I'm here to give you my brutally honest opinion on Pumpkin Jack, so you know if it's worth your money and time. Let's get into it. Pumpkin Jack is a 3D platformer, hack and slash, and puzzle game all wrapped into one package. Whether it does any of those things right, we'll get into in the rest of the video. But I want to begin by saying how incredible it is that this game was made by a single developer. Before I jump into the nitty gritty of this game and whether you should open that wallet of yours to buy it, I wanted to point out how astonishing Nicholas's achievement is. Because the game is super polished and you can't tell it was only a single guy. So great job. Jumping into Pumpkin Jack was pretty seamless. Short tutorial, easy controls, and a very straightforward story that rockets you into the world. You play as Jack, a famous rogue who tricked the devil and was sentenced to a confusing imprisonment in hell. The devil wants to let his monsters roam around the world, but the humans don't want that very much. So they enlist a wizard to help them. The devil doesn't like that very much and enlists you, Jack, to return as a pumpkin and take down the good guy slash bad guy slash final boss. It is the whole twisted story going on where you really play as the bad guy. However, for some reason, all your opposition seems to be the devil's monsters who are continuously roaming around the world. So it's a bit confusing whether you're the bad guy, the good guy, or just a guy trying to escape his eternal damnation. It's got a lot of layers, but ultimately the story is what it is, a reason to fight monsters and travel through the spooky levels. I say spooky because that's how it's advertised on the Epic Game Store, but it definitely isn't a horror game if that's what you're thinking. It's goofy, it's funny, and way more cartoony than I think it needs to be. When it comes to gameplay, I actually think Pumpkin Jack is doing a lot right. There aren't a million different combos to remember, and that leads to a simple, relaxed experience. There also isn't loot of any kind, except when you complete a level and you're rewarded with a new weapon. There's no going back and forth in your inventory and equipping your newest gear, just a straightforward system that seems to work. You jump, you attack, you dodge. That's about it. If you're a newcomer to video games or just want a break from the expansive RPGs, then Pumpkin Jack is going to offer you enough. I say enough because it isn't going to go beyond that. There are some variations to each level, which actually feels more forced than it should, such as navigating lackluster obstacle courses with things like a minecart and a horse, navigating a puzzle with nothing but your pumpkin head, or making your way through a maze that, once you realize how to solve it, is basically a waste of time. The level design is certainly not the strong suit of the game and ends up a distraction to the fun stuff, which is hacking and slashing. There are also these little cow skulls that you can find around the map, which are used to purchase skins for Jack. The skins aren't that cool, and these hidden collectibles have done better in other games. Again, a distraction from the fun part hack and slash. I will say that it is super fun to endlessly destroy skeletons, mutated rats, and ghosts with the different weapons you obtain. But I'd venture to say that there isn't enough of it. The battles don't last too long, and I didn't die once from the enemies either. You get a ridiculous amount of health back when killing enemies or punching crates, which there are plenty of. The battles are less than challenging and end up feeling more like a distraction from the other stuff the minecart racing, pumpkin puzzling, and collectible hunting. Where Pumpkin Jack falls short is figuring out what the best parts of the game are and sticking to that long enough to be fun. You bounce around from minigame to minigame, hacking and slashing, and then back to minigame. Some people might not mind that, but none of it felt challenging or interesting enough for me to really enjoy any of it. I'd say that the best part of the game were the interactions with the characters. Whoever wrote the dialogue needs a promotion, because the banter was on par with my kind of humor. I got more excited when I saw press F to talk than when I saw another freaking cow skull and had to jump on a bunch of boxes to collect it. Damn you, OCD. As platformers go, Pumpkin Jack doesn't add a lot. However, what it does add is pretty good. I did have a lot of fun in my first hour or so of gameplay because the game kept throwing me new things to do, and as someone who gets bored easily, I enjoyed it. Sometimes you hack and slash, sometimes you have to push a bomb around as nothing but a head, and other times you have to click on mushrooms to make more mushrooms appear and jump on them to get to the next objective. Don't ask. As I said before, though, after a while, each different task and minigame felt like a distraction from the actual game. What the actual game was, I can't tell. Was it a platformer, a puzzler, a hack and slash? I don't know. What I did really like was the boss battles. I am a sucker for analyzing patterns and figuring out the weak points of different bosses. The bosses in Pumpkin Jack gave me the satisfaction of failing a bunch of times before I figured out how to succeed. This is what gaming is supposed to be, and Pumpkin Jack does it very well. Nothing is too challenging or complicated, but you have to use your brain in many different circumstances. I'm a riddle nerd. What can I say? When it comes to spooky pumpkins and monsters at every turn, my first thought is always Halloween. The trick or treating, lame costumes, and spending way longer than I should to get candy are what make Halloween great. The unfortunate thing is, it isn't what makes Pumpkin Jack so great. Mindless quests, lame skins, and generic collectibles that push you too far away from the gameplay. It's fun on Halloween, but not in a $30 game. Luckily, I bought Pumpkin Jack early when it was on sale, and I had an Epic Games coupon I used to bring that down to about $10. Had I paid the full price, I'd be a little upset. It's a quick 6 to 7 hour game if you play it straight through, and don't keep dying to literally the least dangerous thing in the game, which was water. I can't tell you how annoying it was to keep falling in there. Ugh. Pumpkin Jack is a good game. That's about all I'll say. It gives you a quick, simple, and ultimately fun game with some twists and turns along the way. The story is what brought me into the game, and what kept me playing the whole time. I didn't feel a necessity to beat the levels or collect all the cowheads, but I did want to know what this wizard was planning and if Jack was going to kick its spell shooting butt. I can't believe I was really rooting for the devil, but hey, I always knew I had a bad boy side. Alright, it's time for the first ever meter of reliability. The seemingly artificial yet completely scripted machine tells you if a game is worth your hard earned cash, or at least the cash your mom gave you for all those chores you forgot to do. So, do you open your wallet? Your mom's wallet? Let's give it a spin. Pumpkin Jack is an acceptable title at a $10 to $15 price tag, but I wouldn't push it further than that. You'll get an all-around good game without much else to go with it. Ultimately, compared to the rest of the market, the game can do a lot better to stand out. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe so you stay tuned to all things The Gamer Kit. As always, I'm Alden. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.